Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. I'm on my lunch break, but I'm still able to get a video out today. And I was getting to thinking about the championship promotion race and the managers involved in it. And it dawned on me that three managers in the top six, Slaven Bilic, Scott Parker and Sabri Lamouchi, are actually managing their first season in the championship. Also in that chasing middle pack for the playoffs, there's Steve Cooper and Philip Koku. And it made me wonder which managers have actually managed. Everyone says the championship is such a hard division to get out of, to get promoted from, to work in. I wondered how many managers have actually managed to do it at the first time of asking. Now, I'm not talking about the first season with a club. I'm talking about a manager's first season in this division. So they could have been at another club, gone to one. They won't be in my list. So I had a quick look back at the managers, and again, a couple of honourable mentions. There are people who've done it. They've come through in one season, halfway through, and then got promoted the next season. I'm not going to count that. I'm only talking about you have one season and it's your first one in the league to do it. So honourable mentions to Tony Mowbray and David Wagner from West Brom and from Huddersfield, who came in halfway through the season before and then were promoted in their first full championship season, but it's not their first actual championship season. So here are the last 10 managers to do so, and the first one was only a couple of years ago, 2017-18, Nuno Espirito Santo, a young manager anyway, working over in Portugal. The George Mendes link, over he comes to Wolves. He gets Bolly, he gets Neves, he gets Jota, he gets promoted. Some would argue not the most romantic of names on the list, but he turned up and he did the job, and he just got it as well, because we saw a lot of games where they were open 3-4-3 in the first half, defensive 5-4-1. He respected the division, and yes, I hear you say they did lose something like £1 million a week to do it, and then take the Premier League money to be the right side of FFP. But Nuno did it in his first season in the Championship. The second name on the list is another big name, is Rafa Benitez, who obviously spent most of his career in Spain and building up in there. So never managed in the Championship, great success at Valencia and then over to Liverpool and the Champions League, etc, etc. Then he winds up at Newcastle. He comes down with Newcastle. So his first season in the Championship was 2016-17. And again, not a very romantic one. Blows everything out of the water with the highest wage bill the division has ever and probably will ever see. Mike Ashley wanted to get back into the Premier League and that TV money. He paid Rafa the money, he paid the players the money, and they did the job. So Rafa, first season in the league, up he goes in first place. Number 3, we have to go back a couple of years before that, is 2014-15, and this guy also got promoted in 17-18 with Fulham, but in 14-15 Slavica Jokanovic was the 4th Watford boss of the season. Would you believe? A couple of Spaniards, I think. Then it was McKinley, and then Jokanovic comes in sort of late autumn time and takes Watford into second place. Incredible. I don't believe he then was kept on. I don't recall totally what happened after that. But big feather in the cap for Jokanovic. He had been elsewhere before, but first season of his in the Championship, didn't even need the whole season, and up go Watford in second place. The 4th person on the list is also that season. It's the playoff winner. It's Alex Neil. So 2 managers promoted that season who didn't even start the season with their team. Alex Neil comes in sort of midway through that season, I think possibly even January time. I need to check that. Again, this is before Rafa's highly paid Newcastle squad. This Norwich squad was at that point the most highly paid in Championship history. So he comes in, he gets the big egos together, gets them into the playoffs, and sadly they beat my team Ipswich in the semis. And up go Norwich in Alex Neil's first season managing in the Championship. And it's Norwich all over again. And God, it's Ipswich's current manager. It's Paul Lambert in 2010-11. This is maybe one of the best on the list because all the other ones I'm reeling off, Watford were perennial yo-yoers. The other three teams we've mentioned, Wolves, Newcastle and Norwich of 14-15, did have the big financial advantages. But Norwich of 2010-11 didn't, because Paul Lambert took them out of League One, straight into the Championship, took advantage of the field opening, and up he goes in second place, I think, behind Neil Warnock's QPR. So Paul Lambert, he'd managed in League One with Wycombe, he'd managed in Scotland, but his first season in the Championship, up he goes. The sixth name on the list, it's another ex-Norwich manager, but he's managing Newcastle. Here come Newcastle again, and here comes Chris Hughton, and he wins the division, and I think it's a 100-pointer as well. The team with Kevin Nolan and Andy Carroll, and I think still Nicky Butt, Alan Smith, players of that nature, so very high calibre footballers. Obviously Newcastle had gone down under Ashley, a whole hodgepodge of Joe Kinnear and then Alan Shearer finishing the season. I believe Hughton wasn't even the full-time manager at the start of the season and was only properly appointed during, but did an amazing job. Again, you would say, huge club in that division, big financial advantage, but Chris Hughton's first year managing in the Championship, I think that might have been his first actual job as a manager, because he was an assistant and a coach for years. So he is the sixth one to do it first time. The seventh is Roberto Di Matteo, who does it in 2009, 2010 with West Brom, and he's straight in there. West Brom yo-yoing, remember, for years and years. They would go up, they would go down. Here they come on an upswing, and it's Di Matteo after a relegation, comes in, bosh, up he goes in second place. Not far from West Brom is Birmingham City, and in 2008, 2009, number 8 on the list is Alex McLeish, who takes over Birmingham in the Premier League mid-season. Down they go. His first Championship season is with Birmingham. They stick with him, and up he goes in second place. 2 more to go. Number 9. This is an interesting one. It's Roy Keane. Mick McCarthy's Sunderland get relegated from the Premier League with a record low 15 points at the time. Sunderland don't have Roy Keane in at the start of the season. Niall Quinn is in temporary charge. The season starts really badly. In comes Keane. There's a mad transfer window and then a mad season where they go from the bottom of the league all the way up to the top. And that is not only Keane's first season in the Championship, that's Keane's first season anywhere. So Roy Keane, 9th on the list, his first season in the Championship, and he wins it with Sunderland. And finally, way back to 2003, 2004 for number 10 is Ian Dowie, Crystal Palace, who takes over Palace. I believe they are 20th in November of 2003, wins 17 out of the next 23 games. Into the playoffs he goes. I think it's Sunderland they beat in the semis and West Ham in the final. And Dowie, although he'd been at Oldham, I think, before, in he goes to Palace, and wow, what an impact. First full season, doesn't even need a full season, and up he goes. So those are the last 10 managers who, on their first experience in that first season working in the Championship, managed to get promotion. I think big props really to Dowie and Jukanovic and Alex Neil, who didn't even have a whole season, who had to go in, work with what they've got and do it. I think big props to Paul Lambert as well, who went straight through League One, first season in the Championship, up he goes. And Roy Keane, his first job bottom to top with Sunderland. Otherwise, the story of these guys that managed to do this, they're either big names or they're at big clubs with big money. So the fairy tale, not necessarily there, and maybe these managers kind of going in there thinking, well, I should be working higher, but I'll take this one season. And to be fair, Nuno, Rafa, Hughton, Di Matteo, McLeish even, all managed to do it. So let me know if you have any memories of those first time winners, first time promoted managers, if you support any of those teams, what were your feelings when they came in, and what happened afterwards? What was the story after those first seasons? And the big question is, can Sabri Lamouchi, possibly. Scott Parker, possibly. Or more likely, Slaven Bilic managed to add themselves to become the first manager in a couple of years to get promotion from the Championship in their first year working in the division. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully an interesting little look. It's not done very often. I've had to go back to 03-04 to find 10 examples, the last 10 examples of this happening. So that's what, 16 years worth. So not a very regular occurrence. Let's see if any of our managers in this year can do it. Get your comments in down below. Get your thoughts in. Which is the greatest achievement on there for those first season in the Championship promotion winners? And who out of those names, we've got to throw in Koku and Cooper because they could go on a mad run into the playoffs. But Lamouchi, Parker and Bilic is on the verge, isn't he? Thank you everybody for watching. If you're a regular to the channel, you'll know the score, but we'll be back for the preview show on Thursday. No 3-game week this week, but a big one coming up the next week. 9 games to go in the Championship. Well worth hitting that subscribe button, ringing the bell. Follow me on Twitter, at Benjamin Bloom, on Instagram, Benjamin Bloom as well. And you can support me monetarily, so maybe one day I won't have to sit in my car on my lunch break and make videos, and I can do this for you full time. Thank you very much for watching. Comments in on your first time winners of Championship promotion. See you soon.